Welcome back to NASM CPT exam prep. This is Chapter 11 of 20, still in exercise technique and training instruction. Today's lesson is plyometric training concepts. We'll cover the stretch-shortening cycle, the prerequisites before programming plyometrics, and progression across the OPT model. Let's get into it. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to do 4 things. First, explain the 3 phases of the stretch-shortening cycle. Second, identify the prerequisites a client should meet before starting plyometric training. Third, map plyometric training onto the 5 OPT phases. And fourth, recognize the exam trap scenario of introducing plyometrics too early. Let's build these one at a time. This is the core power mechanism behind plyometrics. The eccentric, or loading phase, the muscle rapidly lengthens under load. Think of the downward part of a counter-movement jump. This stores elastic energy in tendon and muscle. The amortization, or transition phase, the brief pause between eccentric and concentric. Shorter means more stored energy used productively. Longer means a weaker, slower jump. And the concentric, or explosive phase, the muscle rapidly shortens, releasing stored elastic energy as explosive force. That's the upward, powerful part of the jump. Let's trace a counter-movement jump through all 3 phases. Down, that's eccentric. The split-second pause at the bottom, that's amortization. Up, that's concentric. Here's a coaching cue that makes this concrete. Land soft, go again fast. That cue is really just about minimizing phase 2. Safety comes first here. There are 3 prerequisites. An adequate strength and stability foundation. A client needs enough strength to safely absorb and redirect landing forces before adding speed. Pain-free joints. Plyometrics load joints rapidly and repeatedly. Pain is a stop and refer signal, not something to train through. And movement quality under control. Compensations identified in Lesson 13's assessment get amplified, not fixed, under plyometric speed and load. Think of this as a pre-flight checklist. Run through it before you ever program a jump exercise. Here's the safety point worth remembering. Skipping this checklist and jumping straight to jump training is one of the most frequently tested program design mistakes on the real exam. Here's a classic exam trap. A recurring scenario. A client is excited to start jump training on day 1. The correct answer is almost always build a stabilization and strength foundation first. Here's why this matters so much. Heavy or explosive load applied to a client with poor movement control is exactly how a compensation pattern turns into an injury. I want you to take this one seriously. The same register as any real safety principle. Remember, enthusiasm is not the same as readiness. Let's talk progression. Phase 1, stabilization. Stabilization level plyometrics. A squat jump with a controlled stick landing, paused before the next rep. Phases 2 through 4, strength. Strength level plyometrics. Repeated squat jumps with a shorter pause between reps. Phase 5, power. Power level plyometrics. Tuck jumps, single leg bounds, maximal speed, minimal amortization. By now, this pattern should feel familiar. It's the same 3-tier structure as core training in Lesson 9 and balance training in Lesson 10. Stabilization, then strength, then power. Here's the mechanism underneath the whole progression. It's literally about progressively shortening the amortization phase as a client advances. Let's check your understanding. Question: what happens to power output as the amortization phase gets longer? Take a second and think it through. The correct answer is power output decreases. Stored elastic energy is lost rather than used productively. Here's why. A longer amortization phase means more stored elastic energy is lost as heat rather than converted into explosive concentric force. One more question. A squat jump performed with a controlled stick landing and a pause belongs to which plyometric tier? Pause and think back to the phase table. The correct answer is stabilization level plyometrics, phase 1. Here's why. A controlled landing with a pause emphasizes stability and control. A phase 1 stabilization level plyometric. Let's bring it all together. The stretch-shortening cycle has 3 phases: eccentric, or loading, amortization, or transition, and concentric, or explosive. A shorter amortization phase produces more powerful, efficient output. Confirm strength and stability, pain-free joints, and movement quality before programming plyometrics. Explosive load applied before that foundation exists is how compensations become injuries. And plyometrics progress through the same 3 tiers: stabilization in phase 1, strength in phases 2 through 4, power in phase 5. One more thing to keep in mind. Lesson 12, speed, agility, and quickness training, builds directly on this same foundation. Great work getting through Lesson 11. Next up is Lesson 12, speed, agility, and quickness training. We'll cover defining SAQ and the drills used to train each quality. See you there.